Everyone, this is another ITSL game organised by Baskmex Luis. I'm playing Sone, who has a better record as USSR than USA, so he's on the right side of this matchup. And I've already spent 5 minutes on my clock because I was looking at the ITSL League scores. So I've got them. Oh, so getting purged is going to be nasty. We're opening 4-4-2, even though we've got socialist governments, because we're going to headline captured Nazi here, I think. Over duck and cover, because we want to keep some 3-up cards. We're quite ops light, so I think 4-4-2 is best here. So we'll headline captured Nazi and plug in the rest of our hand. We need to try and drop Asia scoring for neutrality, hold socialist governments against blockade, and hope to the high heavens that we do not get purged, because getting purged here is a disaster. We shall see. We can only be in control of our own disasters after all. Right. No purge, no purge, no purge. It was late to the party this time. Just I'm on another tab sorting out the ITSL League scores for Fruit Strike because I haven't updated them for ages, and now he's taking over from Shaq. I can only assume he's going to be a benevolent dictator as long as I keep him happy. So that's what I'm doing. And then we'll click back and see if I got purged. Here's to hope I didn't. Well, I've shafted that up, so let's cut to the chase. Oh, the Arab-Israeli warred me. Very nice. So now getting cleared out of... cleared out of Italy and cleared out of... potentially cleared out the Middle East. That's rotten. Woo! Okay, we're going to use Formosa Resolution to move into Iraq and play into France. They're going to play into Italy. So the plan now is avoid getting cleared out of the Middle East. Drop Asia for non-dom. Try and not be dominated in Europe. That's a lot to do. But if they coup Iran, we get the less card. I could have used a 3-up card there and played into Malaysia as well. If they don't clear me out of Iran, I could try and press for domination in Asia to redress the balance, but that seems dicey. Here we go. Italy. And one in Iraq, which is fine. So we will play Malaysia, France. which only gives us a 2-op card to coup with. If they don't coup Iran, we probably drop Asia scoring, because we don't really have the ops to do a lot with it either. And we're going to have to hold Romanian abdication because of it giving instant Europe domination. Man, this is lousy. And we want, what, an AR6? AR6 break of Italy, if possible, to Truman them out. Not nice. Not a good start. I'm guessing they don't have Middle Eastern scoring given the lack of rapidity with which they have attacked. And that fail is good for us. What do we think? Oh, man. So it's either false coup on Iran. Oh, I think we'll do that. We'll do the false coup on Iran to get a mill-op to avoid giving up 2 VP. Protect Iran rather than play somewhere else. Yeah. I'm not happy about that at all. And the fact I'm already making kind of lousy plays suggests things aren't going well. And of course, if we get de-styled or de-cold now, but they need to be holding that and do that. Anyway, a start like this goes to show why rating doesn't mean a single bleeding thing. Great. Neutralising the Middle East is great for me, as opposed to them doing something in Asia. We drop Asia for 1. If Middle East drops for neutral now, I can live with it. Oh, I just realised we can't tap. We can't tap AR6 because that would necessitate playing either Romanian abdication or socialist governments now. Bleh. They did have Middle East scoring. That is the way it goes. So we'll tap Italy now. And then if we get blockaded, that's bad for them. So they now want to play blockade for the op. And we can space socialist governments. So not a good start to the game, but if we can deny Europe domination, things aren't as bad as they could have been, while still being very bad. And with De Gaulle and Suez triggerable, containment. Okay. Oh, we can use Romanian abdication to break Italy, right? That's the best play. Holding socialist governments. And now we're praying for Europe scoring in the headline. Truman even better? And we get neither. Bleh. We've got D-style though. I mean, that's a good hand, right? That's a lot of 4-op cards. Alright, so we can be greedy and purge them. And then if they play into Italy, we can use Eastern European unrest to take out Poland. Knowing they've only got the China card and US, Japan, I kind of like purge here. Although Marshall Plan allows to deny domination. That means they have to put 2 in Italy, so it's the same as purging them to some extent. What are they likely to headline? Indo-Pac War. De Gaulle. So Marshall covers de Gaulle unless they have US-Japan. Let's go Marshall Plan. Let's protect the unscored region while keeping our hand ops high. So we need to play into Thailand before we finish the turn with Vietnam revolts. We can use Eastern European unrest for the event to clear out Poland. Those are all viable options. We'll see how they interact. Oh, getting blockaded in the headline's always nice. Well, we ditched E-Star because we've got to play all 6 cards. It's sad to put it back in the deck, but it's a lot sadder when it gets evented. D-Star goes. Blockade goes. They now have the decision of whether or not to give up a coup. Of course they don't. We'll start jamming. Because we have lots of ops. They're going to have to use the China card at some point, which suits us fine. And while they're pressing on Italy, we can spread some influence around elsewhere in Europe to deny domination anyway. But if we get the prize of Italy, that means a lot more. And they've got US-Japan, so they're going to settle that hash. But that gives us a leg up. So we will go deny domination, expanded to Pakistan. So they should now take the coup in Iran. If they fail to do that, we can capitalize, I guess, but it will do for now. I was probably overly greedy fighting in Europe there and probably should have just taken the coup. Although I need to make sure I deny domination as well. Not being dominated in the early war is key job 1. Okay, getting NORAD active will be useful. And that's really not good for them. I do like to trigger Fidel so there is a suicide target on the board. I know a lot of people don't, but I'm not a lot of people. And I know CIA is back in the deck, but nevertheless, retaking Iran, shoring up Pakistan, all good things. Next, I'm likely to go Afghanistan, Thailand to prepare for Vietnam revolts and space socialist governments. That's probably better than being greedy in Europe and trying to event East European unrest. which doesn't give us domination anyway. So solidifying Asia is better. Did I hear you say the tea is mine? Long live the tea. Ooh, Korean War. If they don't play into Korea, which they do, very sensible. Fair enough. We'll continue to press this way so that we have access to dominate Asia. But the rest of the turn is space socialist governments, finish with inventing Vietnam revolts. Pray that we get dealt decolonization and get D-style in the reshuffle. NASA for ops. That's fine for us. Gosh. Okay. We'll space first, which is good. And that allows us to end the turn with Vietnam revolts. De Gaulle and Korean War are De Gaulle and Decol. De Gaulle and Decol are the two cards I'd really like to get, even more than Indo-Pakistani War. Although Indo-Pakistani War confers Milops and keeps Pakistan 100% safe, De Gaulle makes a real mess of Europe. So if I get to get dealt De Gaulle and Comecon next turn, I will be very happy. Their 5-year planning, probably Truman Doctrine or UN Intervention or something. Europe scoring, huh? They didn't even want the 1 VP. That's fine. Okay, we finished with Vietnam revolts. So, De Gaulle and Decol, please. Ha! Neither. Perfect. Well, at least we get Asia scoring. We can purge them to mean that they can't take De Gaulle in the next phase. So purge is probably best here. We get Comecon. We don't get Indo-Pakistani War. So they've got Decol, Indo-Pakistani War. They've got Truman Doctrine as well. Oof. That's a jolly good hand for them. They got all the 3 cards I was interested in. Getting Asia scoring in the redeal is very nice. So I think purging is good if they headline Decol as well, potentially. At least I got high up cards back in the reshuffle. That's always nice. So we'll purge. We'll be greedy. They do go with Decol. That is not so good. But they now can't flip Thailand with the China card under Purge. And they may not assume Asia scoring's been redealt. So we'll see whether or not they lean on. Although, of course, they can play into Burma and then China card into India. That's the play. So they have a way of denying us Asia domination. That's not good. But if they invest all that influence in Asia, Oh, they go for a coup. They miss. Does that do enough to get domination? It does. Perfect. Thank you, NORAD. We'll hold you an intervention. I'm happy to use Comic-Con and give up the 3 influence. But we will finish the turn eventing Eastern European unrest to undermine the foundation in Poland. And after a shaky turn 1, I'm slowly turning this ship around. As long as they don't get D-style as well. If they get D-style, they can get to South America and Africa, but at the moment they can't. So next job we'll be playing into Angola, Zaire, building our base. I need to put another influence into the Middle East to protect against Muslim revolution. If they trigger NATO, we'll use the special relationship bonus. We can but hope. Here comes Truman. Austria or Finland? Finland, I guess. Although, no, it's still 4 ops either way. At least with Austria, we might be able to take it to medium-term brush war Italy at 50-50. What do you do with a single op here? Yeah, attack an unscored region. Sensible. Maybe we do you an intervention, Comic-Con. We'll start with 5-year plan. We can race on country count if they don't immediately take Lebanon now. If they don't take Lebanon, we take Jordan, Saudi, press into Israel. But we do still want to march up through Africa. Mustn't forget to do that. So they take Lebanon, very sensible. But they still now need 3 ops to take Egypt and Libya, and they're under purge. And of course, if they play NATO, we get the special relationship bonus. So it's only if they have nuclear test ban. Or they use the China card, which also would be terrible in their situation. Fine. So we will... We will you an intervention, use Comic-Con. And we're going to go cover Thailand. Play into Israel, play into Angola. I'm not sure using you an intervention was best there with We Will Bury You coming, but it keeps Poland under protected, which is attractive. Because that gives them another job to do at some point. They can't get ahead in the Middle East. This is good for us too. So we will take Zaire. Move into Colombia and then coup and counter coup there. Because they may have wanted to use Indo-Pakistani war. If they don't play into India, we don't need to immediately cover an op in Pakistan. Usually hate going into Colombia early in the game, but knowing I've got a 3-op card to counter coup with is good for me. And I'm likely, if they don't coup Colombia, to go 2 Venezuela and 1 Angola to cover against South African unrest flipping Angola, or Portuguese Empire crumbles. Oh, they had D-Style. Tragic. Do we take the realigns? Do we have anything else to do? Not really. So let's take the realigns on Venezuela. Oh, mate, it's not worth realigning, is it? Let's just pump it twice. They're holding Indo-Pakistani war. We get Junta and duck and cover and brush war. That's nice. So duck and cover is a DEFCON suicide to We Will Bury You. So I guess we have to Junta. Southeast Asia scoring is currently neutral. NASA. Korean War. That's fine, that's my lot. So we go Junta, coup Venezuela. We'd like to space Liberation Theology and Korean War if we get ahead. Drop Southeast Asia for nothing. NASA, then Camp David. Event Brush War on Italy. Definitely Italy in the absence of some other heinous horror. If they missile envy us, we can give them duck and cover because they can't coup because Junta goes off before missile envy. But the 50-50 brush war in Italy is definitely the play when we get a chance, because that's monstrous. Oh, they've briefly given up on Thailand by extracting the op from there for Venezuela. They've left themselves very thin on the ground in Europe as well. If we can dodge Warsaw Pact and get John Paul and successfully flip Italy, the chances of control are real. Of course, we have the upshot as well. If We Will Bury You, we can still Junta realign Venezuela at +1. So Junta is good for 2 reasons there. Also for me practicing my pronunciation of the word. Eventing NASA is not a problem for us as long as we do it before Camp David. But we want to event Camp David as well. For Indo-Pac, oh, Farab's already one not to be valid. Too late. Cool. Big money, no whammies. Stop. That's the way to do it. Please do not hit in Israel. You missed. Oh, that's looking healthy. So I suspect that they will react by filling Argentina and Chile. Not entirely. Okay, so they've signalled they're interested in Africa. Nevertheless, we're going to be greedy, and we're going to brush Italy. One time. Yeah! It's coming along. That is pretty huge. Well, turn one put the wind up me, but things are starting to roll around.
I'll take her upstairs with me.
Yeah, well, she won't let you go without her, so... I mean, yeah, so Sone is now really under the cosh in Europe. We will next use NASA to protect Angola against the nasty cards. We can now use duck and cover because missile envy doesn't trigger too much god awfulness. Things are shaping up alright. And now, cool. So, they've still got Indo-Pakistani war. Mustn't forget. Thank goodness for card trackers. We need to drop Southeast Asia scoring for nil. I don't think putting one in the Philippines is necessarily worth it. If they play into India, we need to remember to cover. Yeah. So, we will use NASA later. Pakistan, one in Angola. One in Panama? Fine, because then if that dissuades them cooing Colombia now. So we want to go NASA, Camp David. So we can use those options. We want to space some of these. If they go off to space, we need space in response so we don't get outstepped. So the worst they can do with the China card is jam Japan and make it 4-4. And we can keep our nose ahead then. Arms race, not for ops, eh? Not for points even. So they'll be getting ready for an OPEC from the look of things. We can drop Southeast Asia scoring now before anything weird happens. Next, we'll go NASA, Summit, Camp David with a space or two along the way to get rid of Libthi and Korean War. And that seems fine. Right, so Asia's covered. Middle East isn't great. Willy Brandt, where's that going? Okay. Well, we'll take a one-op coup on Nicaragua. Because if we're lucky, which we are, we can start to threaten to realign Cuba. That was a risky thing to do, in my opinion. There was no real need to put a target on Cuba's back. But we can now go Summit. We can even use Camp David, as long as we have a plan for the Middle East in the medium term. But with Arab-Israeli war gone, we know we're not going to get cleaned out. Grain has to go to space. So accordingly, now is our chance. So I think we have to take the +1 on Cuba. Second one. Splendid. That'll do, that'll do. Put some on the run. So Indo-Pakistani war no longer gets to try and bag VP, but does do enough to delegitimate my attempts. Thankfully, NASA step in. If they play back into Cuba, we'll take one last crack on Nicaragua. Oh, will we? No, we'll space Korean War because peaking at headlines is so valuable. And now we deny them even a chance to try and snag some points via OPEC, which is great. So they should also have played into Haiti, which they have. So yeah, we space Korean War, that solves our problem. But we don't get to peak, which is a tragedy. But we do get to bear trap them, so we still get the coup. Unless they quagmire us. And of course, with NORAD in play, quagmiring is a fine option. Nevertheless, bear trap is the best bet here. We've also got Sadat. We could have used How I Learned, of course. And if we get quagmired, we're punished there. Brezhnev, we can always use good old AR7. So, yeah, not quagmire is fine. And that gives us a chance to coup somewhere, which is likely to be Argentina. Unless something bizarre happens. Missile Envy's still out, but Missile Envy gives up socialist governments, which with Italy at 15 is less of a concern for me. Missile Envy, ABM, Salt. We're going to want to event Sadat at some point. Let's see. Okay, no Korg is good. We now coup Angola instead. Or do we? We can still coup Argentina and then be greedy and put one op into Angola. Nixon goes. Let's be greedy. South African unrest is our undoing here. But greed is good. And we've been duly rewarded. That poses a problem. So we probably want to go Mexico and start to coup on Nicaragua and Haiti again. So, South African Unrest is the worst card we see now. Well, ABM Treaty is not great, but the upshot of ABM Treaty is we get a NORAD op. South African Unrest is bad, and we probably have to play into South Africa and Zaire to try and realign Angola. Okay, so we get ABM'd. At least we get the NORAD op. Let's see if they queue. Oh no, so that's sensible for them. And they get their result. Kudos. So we now overprotect Angola. And we put 2 into Mexico for presence. Respect that. That's fine. That's what you do with ABM. But they'll be looking to drop Central America scoring fairly soon. We will next shore up Zaire and start to put some ops in South Africa. And we'll look to get a cheeky coup on Southeast African states. If we can space off SocGov this turn, we get to start peaking. Ugh, they beat us to it. Okay. Credit where credit's due. We'll level up. Okay, I mean, in a way that's good for us because it makes the Middle East neutral again. If they play into Cameroon, we coup it, and then we try and realign Zaire. But they're taking a realign first. Bold. Argentina? Do they get there? They do not. So we just put 1 back in. I find trading ops at a 2-for-1 ratio. We'll finish the turn with Brezhnev flipping Zaire. Which kind of means we want to get a coup off. Or at least drop an op. If the realign fails again, we can put 1 in Zimbabwe. Europe's still a nightmare for him. Asia's bad. Middle East is middling. Although, of course, if we can event Sadat, we would gain domination while shuttle diplomacy is live. So that's another reason to event Sadat, as well as being a 5-op swing. Salting Brush War, not a shabby idea. And alas, our coup fails. If they brush Mexico, it suggests that they want Central America scoring. If they brush Argentina, they're looking to level up in South America. Maybe they're just looking to get their hands on it. Where do they go? Africa. Alas for them, it does not end well. We give them Brezhnev 6 because if they event brush war, they're no better off. And now it's a 50-50. And then we can AR7 event Sadat. If they've got Africa scoring, they're even worse off. So Sone's got the decision then, if not holding a scoring card, do I brush war now or do I do something else, save brush war and use it on a later turn? Although of course with We Will Bury You gone and Duck and Cover gone, I can missile envy to steal brush war if they have a lousy lineup on cards. If I can avoid the 10-point Central America, which may intrinsically be a reason to use socialist governments, depending on how they line up on the stripping of Europe. I could put an extra 1 in Mexico just to make it slightly more shored up. Although, of course, against brush war, it's actually probably better to put it in Guatemala, because then if they brush it successfully, I can +1 realign. Or if they could successfully, I can +1 realign. So maybe I event socialist governments, repair 2, 1 in Guatemala, if it goes that way. Suez for ops is a good result for us. It is 4 ops for them. Okay, so they go to town in the Middle East. I still prefer, given the Middle East scoring hasn't been, eventing socialist governments, repairing, and putting 1 in Guatemala. Only brush war allows them to flip something in the headline. Well, Lone Gunman does, but they're not likely to headline that. So I'd expect to see Canada plus something else. Yeah, okay. Without NATO in play, we can move to Cameroon to threaten Nigeria. That's fine. So South America scoring is good for us. VOA is great for us. We got 1 small step. We can space Che. Allende doesn't mean a lot. This is a lovely hand. Okay, so if we miss LMV, we're likely to get Flower Power or Muslim Revolution. If we get some cards, we get... I mean, Arsenal is probably the worst card to be handed. I like a miss LMV here. And if we can pull Flower Power or Muslim Rev, we are laughing. More God Almighty big parsnips. the inevitable brush war headline. That's to be expected. It will be interesting to see where they target. Where they target will dictate likely what scoring card they're holding. Ergo, Italy if Europe, even at 1 in 3. Or Argentina, or Mexico if they want to go for the Grand Slam in Central America. Argentina fails. That is huge in the context of what we know we're holding. Do we pull a 4-op? I hope we do. We really want Flower Power or Muslim Rev here. Muslim Rev is great. Absolutely fantastic. So, yes, please. And if we get it, we coup Panama. And then if they coup Nigeria, we can, sorry, Cameroon, we can counter coup, etc., etc., etc. And we still have VOA. VOA will blow them out in other ways. Let's see what we get first, though, because we may get a 3-op card. In which case we know they have no Flower Power or Muslim Rev. We get Usuri. So we get given the China card, and they still get a coup. But, of course, it's a 2-op coup, and we now hold the China card. Where is an op best spent? Breaking Iraq. Breaking Israel? Because of Muslim Rev. So we will use a NATO. And we'll do some damage. And we can just keep doing damage here. We've got high ops. We've got Voice of America. We can pressure. If they get sassy in Africa, we, of course, Voice of America them out of Algeria and walk in. So we're just going to turn the pressure up. So is Warsaw Pact gone again? We don't need to worry about John Paul. They are doing event and repair and not in Africa. So we can just take a clean coup on Haiti to deny domination in Central America for now. Then we can do the same in Nicaragua. We're looking to space Che, obviously. And we're looking to drop South America scoring as soon as practical. Ooh, cooing with puppet governments. That's bold. Well, we can immediately put in all the one stability battlegrounds in Africa. Right? Yeah, that's fine. You are not trading the territory you think you're trading. So, one small step's gone from my hand. Now's the time to drop South America scoring before anything hinky happens down under. We'll space Che. We still want to events it out. We don't need to worry about Allende. Oof. I would have taken the 1 in 3 on Italy, holding Europe scoring. I guess what we want to do is take a ambitious coup on Nicaragua. 50-50. Fails. I was thinking if that succeeds, we have more realigned targets to use nuclear test ban on both Algeria and Nicaragua. Now that's not happened. We'll probably AR7 Voice of America just to cause a bit of havoc. But we will take rear lines on... Well, we'll wait and see. We definitely want to put a hole in Central America before it drops, but everything else is going our way. Africa drops for 1. This is very much in our favour. With Africa dropping, we can just space Che. We've got tempo. Now we can peak. That's another thing in our favour. We absolutely want to event Voice of America before the reshuffle, which is happening. Okay, things have definitely turned the corner since turn 1. When you're running good, you're running good. So I think AR7, we go 2 out of Panama, 1 out of Nicaragua, 1 out of Cuba. And that way we are setting up presenceless domination in Central America in the headline phase if we get dealt it. That's definitely the gambit. So AR6, if they space, for example, or do something bland, will event Sadat. Just to put some pressure on there. But it's looking good. And now we're holding China and Cultural Revolution's gone. We don't need to worry as much about Lone Gunman as well. And we still got Arsenal, which we may get post-reshuffle to dispense with Lone Gunman. The roads are all leading to Rome, which is full of our influence, so that's fine. Spacing CRG, standard, sensible, but gives us more tempo. Oh man, Roscosmos have been awful. So they're AR7. If they've got 3 influence to spare, they should be putting in Egypt. But if they don't, I'm still not going to convert it. I will instead Voice of America and create havoc in Central America. Presenceless Dom. That give us 4 VP. So it's a 6 VP swing. No, but now we get a coup. Perfect. Oh, in that case, we coup Panama. And we... Oh, but... Ooh. Keep it away from the reshuffle. No, we'll take a coup. We've got a 4-up card to spare. And the game is pretty much over with those scoring cards dealt to us. We get to headline peak. We can even use Cuban Missile Crisis to drop DEFCON. It's going to be very hard for them to come back from this. Europe doesn't quite nail it. I guess the question is, do we need to... We'll see what they headline, right? If they don't do anything to damage Central America in the headline, we can do Europe scoring, and then if they coup Central America, holding Central America scoring, we drop South America to end the game. That's our gambit. So the jig's probably up here. Plus both of those scoring cards were just dealt last turn, so to be handed them straight back it's a giveaway. They know we're holding Lone Gunman, but they can't really do a lot with that information. They may yet quagmire us. Oh, South African unrest is no good for you, though, I'm afraid. So we go Europe scoring. That can't flip Dom, so they'll take a coup. I drop South America scoring, the game's over. Yeah, I think they're out of road here. They do something with South Africa unrest. They coup Mexico in the hopes of denying domination with Central America, and I drop South America to win the game. That's the gambit. I can afford to be greedy. Yeah, I think apart from holding Quagmire, their hand's something like John Paul OS, Formosa, CIA, Kitchen Debate, Olympic Games, Central America scoring. So it's absolutely rotten. Well, that is a good way to flip Dom. But that's game. Well, that's that then. And that's that. Thank you for watching. I don't know when my next game is. I don't think I have any in the books. I've been emailing out the remaining people. So yeah, I'll keep you posted, obviously. But for the time being, thank you for watching, and comment freely on both. And I will see you next time I see you. Goodbye for now.